strike a pose, but for real, do you know how to pose for the camera? Model Manuella Enama and photographer Terrence Lindsay are here to show us how to get your look down with a pose. So, Manuella, let's talk about what is one of the first things you want to think of when you're posing?
First thing you absolutely want to think of is your posture. So good posture is your chin up so you can show your beautiful neck, your shoulders relaxed and down, and of course your chest slightly out. And then bad posture, of course, is when you're slouched over, your shoulders are more raised, which shows that you're nervous or really tense, and you're hiding your neck as well with the chin.
Well, one thing I'm noticing too is her back's all the way against the wall, and she's sitting upright.
Exactly. So like the further you are away from the camera, you really want to make sure that you're not hiding your neck. So that's why slouching against a chair sometimes may not be the most flattering pose to do.
Yeah, I always had a ballet teacher who said shoulder blades down and together like they're in your back pockets.
Exactly,
okay.
Pretty much.
Now, what about overthinking? Because this can really show up on your face or even your overall body.
Most definitely. Overthinking, of course, is natural whenever you're getting on set. I do it still to this day, but I always remember to take deep breaths in and out. And I always flow through my poses. So flowing more so looks like continuous posing.
Oh, wow. So she's just going to keep it moving so the photography can work.
Exactly. And then, of course, when you're overthinking, on the other hand,
you might get a little stuck, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, and then let's move on to the S of our pose, and this one's about shape and structure.
Yes, so shape and structure really can bring out the pose. So say, for instance, like, if you are just staying in one shape, I'm not getting that many poses. I'm not getting that many frames. It's just gonna look like bland. But if you give me different shapes, it's like it can bring out the picture, and then that's how you bring out different expressions as well.
Okay, and how would that look with our models, right? Because
yes, of
when
course.
You're telling me shape, I'm like, what exactly are you looking for?
So, Belinda, this is what shape looks like. So she'll have her legs slightly down, and of course you see she's forming a triangle shape near the torso with her arm, compared to you having both of your hands to your side. You're not creating a space at all or a gap between her legs, which gives her wider hips as well because she's facing directly towards the camera.
Okay, and she's also working her angles, right? Because
exactly.
When you got it posed up on the small of her waist,
exactly, and she knows her angles pretty well, so.
Okay, well that's perfect. And then, you know, we want to move on to the E, right? Because this is so important, and we want to get the photographer's stance on this, right?
Yes, so E is very important because expressions. So let's say, for instance, I give her one pose to do. She can give me 5 different expressions, so the pose is actually looking 5 different ways. But if she gives me the same expression, it's going to look like the same photo. So it's just like look bland.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. And then what do you think of as a model when you're giving people direction for expression?
For expression, well, if you're anything like me, you could be shy or awkward in real life, and that's okay. But when you get on set, think of yourself as an actual actress. Go into character mode. Ooh. So what that means is channel just different moods or just attitudes or just feelings, because it all starts with a thought. So when I'm frustrated, I'll just think of times when I'm standing in the Chipotle line forever, because we've all been there, right? And I get to, get to the front of the line. Exactly, and they're telling me they're out of white rice. Like, are you serious? So I would be frustrated. So I would be really tense. My hands, of course, will be clammed up. Sometimes I may touch my face if I'm really, really at that point, but that's exactly how you will look frustrated, and that's how the photographer will be able to capture that, and you'll be able to really be relatable when people are looking at the photo.
Okay, well that makes so much sense. Now I want to touch on that you guys have classes where maybe you're going to actually work with some clients. So can you ladies stand up and maybe give us some tips?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
So
let's get this started.
Of course, yes, get into it. So tip number 1, we all like to face towards the camera first when we're all, starting out shooting. However, when you're facing directly in front of the camera, you're gonna look wider, because we all know the camera does add 10 more pounds.
So that's really true.
Exactly, it is true. Even for me, my petite self, I still look wider than usual when I am shooting. So instead of facing directly towards the camera, you'll turn at a slight angle, and if you have pockets, make sure your thumbs are out. When your hands are hidden, you look very tense and nervous, and we'll be able to see that very visibly. So, and then the second pose, we all love our side profile shots. So, when you're posing on the side profile, you don't want to lean on your front leg. Okay. You want to put all your weight on your back leg instead, like Hano is doing, and you also want to stick your hips out at a slant or at a diagonal as well. So with her also, KK, she is slouching over, and look how pay attention to how she's grabbing herself, like she's grabbing her arm, she's crossing it in front of her, she looks very tense compared to you gracefully placing your hands in front of your chest when you're crossing them over. Hano is creating space in between her fingers, which makes for a more gentle like pose as well, and it's very flattering.
Well, thank you so much for all of those tips, and of course they can look you guys up online for a few more class details and that sort of thing. So thank you guys so much. Bill?